Some 42.5 million people are expected to fly during the holidays, according to a recent airline trade group. Now, flying is considered one of the safest ways to travel, but it still has its problems. This week, a United Airlines plane skidded while landing on the runway in San Antonio. In that unfortunate scenario, flight crews must be able to evacuate a plane in less than 90 seconds. CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg shows us what passengers need to do in an emergency.
3 Heavy stopping on the runway.
Seconds before takeoff, Flight 383 came to an abrupt stop. Its right engine engulfed in flames.
Everyone on the right side of the plane jumped up and jumped onto us because as soon as the explosion happened, there was fire.
Business traveler Sarah Ahmed Furno was inside the smoke-filled plane as panic set in.
You can't see anything, and there's absolute chaos in the cabin. So at that point, there's a stampede, and everyone's jumping on each other.
Ahmed Furno is one of 18 passengers involved in a lawsuit against American Airlines and the plane's manufacturers, Boeing and General Electric. Among the allegations is that American Airlines failed to instruct passengers on proper and safe evacuation procedures. But on this cell phone video, the plane's overhead bins are seen in the open position, an indication that some passengers took their carry-on bags with them when they left the plane.
I saw 2 flight attendants at the front of the plane, and they yelled at me and said, "Oh, leave your bag." I was the last one off, and I ignored them and I jumped down the slide.
The incident is the latest in what's becoming an alarming trend during aircraft emergencies. In August, passengers were seen heading for the door with their bags as smoke filled an Emirates Air Boeing 777 in Dubai. Photos posted to social media showed the same rule being broken on board a British Airways jet in Las Vegas last year, and after the 2013 crash landing of an Asiana plane in San Francisco. For any aircraft to be certified as airworthy, flight crews like these have to demonstrate they can evacuate a fully loaded plane with half the exits blocked in less than 90 seconds. But the question remains, who's training the passengers?
Stay seated!
In this cabin simulator, flight attendants are trained how to evacuate a fully loaded plane.
Leave everything!
Everyone here knows what to do in an emergency. After all, they work at the airline. But in reality, the situation is far less predictable.
Medical emergencies, decompression, security, you name it.
Pauline Harrison is a safety instructor with Delta Airlines.
Our biggest challenge is that people do want to take their luggage off the aircraft. Why in the world would you stop and take a selfie or take a bag or anything like that?
But we live in a selfie world where everybody wants to take that selfie.
Yes, sir, but that person that does that is going to keep you from getting out of that aircraft.
To start the flow of oxygen, breathe normally.
Flight attendants say the problem lies with the safety video. As detailed and entertaining as it might be, they say passengers either don't listen, or worse yet, they ignore the video altogether.
Before the flight, only 12 of our passengers had read the safety briefing card, and only about 24 had paid attention to the safety demonstration.
Chesley Sullenberger was the captain on board the legendary flight now known as the Miracle on the Hudson. He says it may not be until people die during an evacuation that the traveling public finally pays attention.
Let's hope that it doesn't take a high body count in a horrific accident where people cannot escape to finally remind people that they must leave their belongings behind.
Joining me now is CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg. Thanks so much for joining us, Peter.
You got it.
Now, how do airlines get certified, and what are the evacuation protocols?
Well, the protocol is they have to evacuate a fully loaded plane with half the exits blocked in 90 seconds or less, and they always pass the test because they get to pick who does the test. In reality, that has not happened. That situation in September of last year with the British Airways 777, almost 8.5 minutes to evacuate a plane that was already on fire. The American Airlines plane in Chicago, at least 6.5 minutes to evacuate a plane, was always on fire. So these people were very, very lucky because in both of those cases, people stopped to take selfies, to take their hand baggage out. They're going down emergency evacuation slides with their rollerboards. This is nuts.
So 90 seconds is the goal, and yet it's going 6-8 minutes.
That's right. So we've been very, very lucky because most people do not die from the impact or the fire. They die from the toxic smoke. And if you can't get out of that cabin with the toxic smoke, you basically drop and you're done.
All right, so how are we going to educate the passengers?
Well, if you look at the safety videos, I don't care how cute they are, they never mention the words, leave everything on the plane. They tell you about what to do if the oxygen mask drops down, how to look for the lighted signs to get out of the airplane, but they're not taking it seriously enough to say, and the flight attendants want them to do this. Guys, leave everything. That includes your laptop, your purse, your handbags, get off the plane.
That's interesting, though. So it's nice that that's going to be a focus because been traveling for years, and I'd never heard that either.
Exactly, and it doesn't even say that on the placard sometimes. They need to pay more attention to that, because if they don't, these situations will repeat themselves time after time.
All right, Peter, thanks so much.
You got it.